What's up? What's up? I'm back. After talking about Lil Kim and talking about Nicki Minaj and talk about how they only talk about materialism and focus on the body, like I questioned where it came from, because I mean it's always been here. Men used to always do it, but the fact that women do it now is crazy. And the whole feminist movement, to be honest, is women being able to hold themselves out, not being held by the men, because I mean they wanted to get rid of their pimp, so now they pimping themselves out. That's really the whole Amber Rose movement, the Kim Kardashian movement, because the Kim Kardashian really out here pimping niggas now. In that same aspect, they still pimping the body and reflecting the same thing that's going on in this world by, we hoe out Earth, we pimp out Earth. Earth give us all these free things, but somehow we place value on it because, it's the system we live in. And it go to show, like, in Revelation 17, it talk about Babylon being a prostitute and selling herself and selling her riches, or selling, I ain't gonna say selling herself, but being the energy of selling and not, really giving back and shit like that. She prostituted herself out and for values and luxuries because she seen herself as, different, I guess, worthy or something else. And that's just my perspective of it. But it says she lived in luxuries and things like that. But I'm gonna get into it. Okay, come with me, he said, I will show you judgment that is going to come over the great prostitute who rules over many waters. The kings of the world have committed adultery with her, and the people who belong to this world have been drunk by the wine of her immortality. And I mean, just that line alone just go to show you, like, that's what all the kings do. They pretty much sell this world and give us, value on this world when this shit's supposed to be free. They go along with the prostitution. And that's the same shit as, like, if everything starts from self, a woman can't be pimped unless she's willing to be pimped. And that's the part of Babylon. She want to be pimped and she allowing the kings to do it. She doing it to herself. Because at the end of the day, she gaining what she want out of it. Immortality. Because everybody putting her energy into her. And that's the same thing with Dr. Strange. He was like, what lords do you rule over? And they was like, what are you talking about? He was like, Earth or whatever, but it's really Babylon that rules over these people. And in that same sense, it's because they don't want anything free. They don't want anything to come to them the righteous way. They want it to be sold to them in a sense. And at the end of the day, you really selling earth, which is a part of the spirit. You selling spirit, you selling soul, whatever you want to call that shit. When you sell your body, you selling your spirit. When you sell your art, you selling your soul. So what are you doing these things for? And they go to the same thing as like celebrities and shit. Like, that's why I don't follow them. And I'm getting off topic real quick, but it's like, if y'all was really talking that shit, bro, and y'all wasn't talking about materialism, and y'all was really using it. Somebody got a little dick outside, obviously, but back to what I was saying. Fuck, I hate when people do this shit. Yeah, if these celebrities had the juice, bro, and they was really speaking from the temple, bro, it's like these people literally got millions of people following them that are willing to buy their album and put their energy into them at any moment. And the fact that they might have millions or even have billions, but they don't even need it. It's the fact that they got people following them, and the fact that these people ain't doing nothing with their energy just go to show you how fucked up this world is. And it's really, like, people only really want your energy if you gonna give them money. Like, honestly, if you looking to wake yourself up and do your own thing, bro, what they say, when your idols become your rivals, when you start getting on their level, bro, it ain't the same game, because they really was only trying to use you. And that's honestly the truth. But they just go to show you. I'm off topic. So the angels took this Revelation 17:3. Let me see. And the mystery's name was written. Let me see. I want to read this. I'm going to start in Revelation 17:4. In her hand she held a gold goblet full of obscenities and impurities of her immortality. And a mysterious name was written on her forehead. Babylon, the great mother of all prostitutes and obscenities in this world. And I talk about it. Amber Rose, Kim Kardashian, all these women y'all glorify, and even men that you glorify are these prostitutes. We're not glorifying the Lauryn Hill. We're not glorifying the Rhapsodies. We're not glorifying the women that speaks art and spirit. But if a woman got body, we liking that ass shot. We liking them pictures, and that's just go to show you the state of this world. I could see that she was drunk with the blood of God's holy people who were witness for Jesus. I stared at her in complete amazement. The angel asked, why were you amazed? I will tell you the mysteries of this woman and the beast with their 7 heads or whatever. Okay, I don't really need to get into that. Because, I mean, that's more into the spirit. And people get distracted when they start hearing 7 beasts and all that other shit. But, and the people who belong to this world, whose names were not written in the book of life before the world was made, would be amazed at the reappearance of the beast who had died. And if you heard what I just said, it said was written in the book of life, was not written in the book of life before the world was made. And that go to when I talk about your spirit already having creation and your spirit already doing things before we get here. And we think we're in control when we get here, but we really just fulfilling prophecy while we're here. And our detachment and our illusion of thinking we're doing something crazy, something different is really what, you know, caused us to be prostituted and lost and all these other different things. They will give authority to him and their power. Together they will go to war against the Lamb, but the Lamb will defeat them because he is the Lord of all lords and the King of all kings, and he was chosen, and the faithful ones will be with him. Then the angel said to me, the waters where the prostitute is ruling represents the masses of people, every nation and language. And yeah, when they said that Babylon ruled over many waters, the waters mean us, because I mean we're honestly just waters, and they just go to show our temple. And you can call us lights or stars or whatever you want to call us, but they use different interpretations of that. But when you get a group of people together, they're the water, they're the masses, and that makes sense. Every nation and every language, and she does rule over every nation and every language. I don't give a fuck if it's the black, the Israelites, no matter what. Everybody out here trying to profit and make some money off somebody at the end of the day. And like I said, when I make spiritual shit, I don't look for no money. If you want to donate some money, that's cool. But this shit all free. It came to my mind freely. So why the fuck would I charge somebody for it? And that's just honestly, that's how the world supposed to work. When we start putting restrictions on, oh well, now you need this to get that. Well, we making levels that's harder than we already came to, like, fuck how I want to say that. We making shit harder than we already have to. Like, we already came here to figure out lessons and shit, but now that we want to add restrictions and payments on lessons and knowledge and wisdom, it's like, nigga, we gonna be in this whole trap forever, because now you're trying to earn money just to get to wisdom. And now if you got to make that much money to get to that amount of wisdom, like when you with the Masons and these Illuminatis where they got 33 levels and degrees and shit, which, I mean, just off topic, represent the spine. Like, you doing some shit to make ranking in a pyramid scheme, and that shit is really crazy, because you really think you're going somewhere with that shit, but at the end of the day, all that knowledge was already there freely, but you rather take time to learn that shit because that's what the system told you to do. But a little bit off topic. Let's just get into Revelation 18. Babylon is fallen, the great city is fallen. She has become a home for the demons. She is a hideout for every soul, every foul spirit, a hideout for every foul vulture, every foul and dreadful animal. For all nations have fallen because of the wine and her immortality and passion. For all nations have fallen because of the wine of her passion and immortality. Everybody's drinking her cup. Everybody drinking the wrong cup. Nobody want to drink the cup of Christ. Nobody want to drink the cup to get out of here. But everybody want to have their luxuries. Everybody want to be, everybody want to profit off earth. And honestly not do the work to really put it back in. But because of her desires for extravagant luxuries, the merchants of this world have grown rich. Point blank period. Y'all think you get rich off, I don't know what y'all think people get rich off of. Besides me, I'm rich in spirit, so I get shit from the spirit. But these people out here profiting off this world, oil, all these companies, water companies, shit, it's gonna be some air companies soon. Like, all these companies, bro, is some prostitutes, some pimps, or whatever you want to call it. And that's how they got rich. And I talk about it. Most companies profit off our backs of native people. Then I've heard another voice calling from heavens, come away from her, my people. Do not take part in her sin, or you'll be punished with her. Point blank period. Y'all keep standing up for the flag, keep voting, keep doing all these things, and y'all want America to change and be better, but it's a fucking joke because it's not meant to be. Babylon is drunk from the cup of Babylon, and her sins has been piled plenty high. Honestly, I don't know if I read that shit, but here you go. For her sins are piled as high as the heavens. Come away from her, my people. Do not take part in her sins, or you'll be punished with her. For her sins is piled as high as the heavens. Every time y'all try to drink from this cup of America or Babylon, which is the world, honestly, y'all fucking with some shit. Y'all tying y'all souls into some shit that's already sealed their fate. and it go into like the mark of the beast and things like that. It get into it. It's like it's levels to this shit already, but the fact that you keep drinking from the cup, bro, you're gonna become that beast eventually. What they say, you are what you eat, but that's not a physical thing, it's a spiritual thing. What you spiritually consume, what you're spiritually doing, like that's what you are. Due to her, okay, her sins is piled as high as the heavens. God remembers her evil deeds. Due to her, as she has done to others, double her penalty for all her evil deeds. She brewed a cup of terror for others. Honestly, and I talk about capitalism. If you can benefit off one man's flaws or downfall, why wouldn't you? And that's what pretty much Babylon is. Like, you profit off these things that have no protection in the sense of it can't fight you back. You cut down the trees and forests, and because there won't be no immediate repercussions. But if you knew it would be, you wouldn't do these certain things. But y'all rather wait, and y'all say, what do you say? Oh, the world won't be here. The world, I won't see the world fall or some shit like that. But that's really a joke, because you're you're so prideful, egotistical. You think that the world will be good the whole time you're here. That's crazy. I honestly hope that I get to see America fall. I honestly believe that I'm a part of a part of it falling. But like the fact that people think that America will fall maybe 100 years from now, or this world will be here maybe after they gone or some shit, they'll have to worry about that. That should just go to show how prideful you are. Like, oh, I don't have to see this. I don't have to go through this torment. I don't have to go through. That's what you're thinking deep down. But so matched with torment and sorrow, she boasted in her heart, I am queen on my throne. I am now helpless widow, and I have no reason to mourn. Therefore, these plagues will overtake her in a single day: death, mourning, and famine. She will be completely consumed by fire. That's what she need, bitch. And the king of the world committed adultery with her, and enjoy her great luxuries, will mourn for her as they see the smoke rising from her charred remains. And then they say they'll cry out, how terrible for you, O Babylon, the great city. In a single moment, God's judgment came onto you. Facts. It happened that fast. And then they go to say, you brought great quantities of gold, silver, jewels, pearls, fine linens, purple silks, scarf fabrics, wood, ivory, marble, cinnamon, spice, incense, wheat, cattle, sheep, chariots, and bodies, that is, human slaves. Facts, bro. I talked about it. The feminists and the all this, what do you call it? These moguls and shit, like, they really just selling themselves out to this world, to Babylon. Now, there's certain people that understand and trying to get out and realize that, but for the most part, if you out here trying to do stuff on yourself, and it's because you realize that you don't want to work under somebody, but in that same aspect, you don't realize that you're giving all your shit back to Babylon. You're giving all your energy back into them. You might have millions and billions of dollars, but all your shit going into them. And in the same sense, you selling yourself out. Like, you used to have a pimp, but now you selling yourself out. That's the only difference. And that's what people kind of get lost in. Is like, I know I'm trying to be an entrepreneur and do my things myself, but you got to realize that shit just for survival. That shit don't mean your spirit good. Like, people got to get that spirit, the shit they doing spiritually and the shit they doing physically separate. Just like Jesus said, pay who you need to pay Caesar his money, and then pay God his money, in the sense of he need his own spirit shit. Like, what you do for what do you call that shit? When you tithes and offering, that's not for God. That's for Caesar. That's for America. That's for Babylon. And you need to realize that shit. You're not doing, when you go pay tithes and offering, that shit ain't for God. Like, that's a whole nother mission. God ain't on the front of that bill, just how Caesar wasn't on the front of their coins. It might say in God we trust, but you got to realize who they talking about. Babylon, because that's the God of this realm. That's who they worship. That's who they drink from. That's who they love. That's how they got all this shit. And the captains of the merchant ships and the passengers and sailors' crew will stand in distance. They'll cry out and watch the smoke ascend. Where is this another city this great as this? They're going to look for something else, but they won't have it, bro. How terrible for the great city. The ship owners became wealthy, transporting her great wealth on the seas. Facts, bro. That's what they do. They move her shit and sell it to the people, bro. Prostitution. Hoeing out America, hoeing out the world. Just like the great city of Babylon was thrown into violence against you. No harps. I'm gonna start this with my next video, but I'm out.